Hey there, it's Jill from Cooking After Class. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my granola recipe, my all-time favorite granola. Love it. It is so yummy, so delicious, and so easy to make. So I have all the ingredients out. I think I have everything I need. So I'm going to start with the dry ingredients in my big bowl here. You need cashews. I just have a cup of cashews. In my house, if I put like the whole cashews or big chunks in, then my children will just pick the cashews out of the granola. So I take the cup and put it in a little sandwich bag and I just crunch them up a little bit with a rolling pin here. You could use anything to crunch them really. And I just try to put them into little smaller pieces so that they're harder for the kids to pick out. And I'm just gonna dump that into a big bowl. So I have the cashews, and then you need a cup of sliced almonds, and I'm just gonna dump about a cup in. I'm not like the greatest measurer. I'm always about a cup, so it works. So I have the cup of that. We have oats. I use the old-fashioned oats, and we need 3 cups of that. So that's just gonna go into our bowl. 1, 2, and 3. So I have the oats, the cashews, and the almonds in there right now. And I need to add some coconut. So it's just regular sweetened coconut. I love these little like clips here at the top. They're so fancy, one of my favorites. I keep my coconut in the fridge because I don't use it a ton except for granola. So the bag lasts me a while. It's 3/4 of a cup. Again, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. So there's my coconut in there. And then the last thing that goes in this bowl is dark brown sugar. Now, I haven't made this with light brown sugar, so I'm not really sure if you get the exact same flavor, but I always just use the dark brown sugar for it. So it's a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. And again, I'm just doing a quick measure of that out. So I have all my dry ingredients in here, and then I'm just gonna grab a spatula, mix it all up together here, get it all mixed in so I don't have any big chunks of anything laying around. So there it is, it's all mixed up pretty good there. And now I'm going to start my liquid ingredients that are going to be added to it. So I just use a bigger measuring cup for this. So I have a 2-cup liquid measuring cup, and then I'm going to pour in a 1/4 cup of avocado oil. So I went ahead, I got the 1/4 cup in there, and then we have maple syrup, and again a 1/4 cup. So I'm just going to fill it up to the 1/2 cup line, and then 2 extra tablespoons of that. So there's 1 and 2 of the maple syrup. And then the other thing that gets added is salt. And it's 3/4 of a tablespoon. So I have 1 tablespoon, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So I have 3/4 of a tablespoon, and I just use this and I mix it on up. Get that mixed together, and then it gets poured into your dry ingredients here. So mix that all in. I'm just gonna mix it all together. And really, it's that simple. This granola is so yummy. When I knew I wanted to make granola, I looked for recipes. I tried so many different ones. Some of them are pretty complicated and pretty complex, and this one was one of the easiest by far, and it was definitely the best tasting one ever. So I love it. Then all I'm gonna do is take 2 pans, and I use the silicone liners on them. In fact, this is how I store my pans. I always have them on here. I cook with the silicone liners. I don't ever grease any pans. The only time I don't use them is if I'm broiling something, but other than that, they're always on my pans. Keeping everything a little bit healthier and letting it come up the pans easily so nothing sticks. So then I'm just gonna spread it out into a thin layer here. Before I started, I turned the oven on, and it cooks at 250 for an hour and 15 minutes. So one time I did partially mess up my granola, and that was because I had made something beforehand and I didn't let the oven totally cool down to 250 before I put the granola in, so it was a little crispy that day. But other than that, like you see I'm not the greatest measurer, but I've never like messed it up. It always comes out really good. So my oven is up to temperature now, it's 250. So I'm gonna put both of the pans in. They will cook for an hour and 15 minutes, about halfway through, again, really rough because sometimes I forget and there's like 15 minutes left and I'll mix them. But about halfway through, when you remember, just take your rubber scraper and kind of mix it up, toss it a little bit, and then I usually switch the order of the trays in my oven just so that they cook more even. And then that's it. So yeah, that's the granola. I'll try to put the video on again when I go to mix it, and you can see that process. But so super easy, and seriously, this granola is delicious. There it is, an hour and 15 minutes. Ready to go. Okay, there's a half hour left for our granola to cook, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take it out here, get this one out, and this pan up here, and then I'm just gonna kind of unstick it a little, move it around just a little bit on the cookie sheet here. Again, I use the silicone liner, so super easy. Nothing is really like totally sticking. It's just comes right off. I'm just kind of rotating it a little bit, so make sure it cooks evenly. Really quick process. Again, roughly halfway through, go ahead and do that. And then I'll stick it back in and cook it for the rest of the time. And then it will be ready to eat. The timer just went off, so our granola is ready. It's been an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm just gonna take it out. And there it is. Again, I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure nothing is sticking, which it isn't. It's very nice and easy to move around on these nice silicone liners. So the granola is done. It's finished. I'm just gonna let it cool there for a little bit, and then once it's cool, I'm gonna go ahead and put it into one of my OXO pop containers here. And then this goes into the pantry, and the granola can be eaten plain by the handful. I personally like it on top of my yogurt, but it disappears pretty quick from our pantry. It is a snack favorite in our house. So hopefully you are able to enjoy it too, and you learn to love it as much as we do. Thanks for joining us today.